Welcome back to the channel JF Coin, where we uncover the hidden treasures that may be sitting quietly in your pocket change or coin collection. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins from American history, the Liberty $quarter of 1965. This particular coin is not just an ordinary piece of change, it carries with it an incredible history, a special place in numismatics, and in some rare cases, it can be worth hundreds of dollars in today's market. Some examples have even been sold or valued as high as $442, making it one of the most exciting coins to look out for. Let us start with the background. The year 1965 was a monumental turning point in American coinage history. Up until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. However, due to the rising cost of silver and a nationwide coin shortage, the United States Mint made a groundbreaking decision. In 1965, they introduced the clad coinage system, replacing silver quarters with coins made of copper and nickel. The 1965 Washington quarter became the very first regular issue quarter struck under this new system. Instead of containing precious metal, it now had a core of pure copper and an outer layer of copper-nickel alloy. For collectors, this transition marked the end of an era and the start of something entirely new. The obverse side of the 1965 quarter still features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. His bust faces left, with the word Liberty boldly displayed at the top, the motto "In God We Trust" just to the left, and the year 1965 struck at the bottom. On the reverse, you will see the majestic American bald eagle, wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows, with olive branches below, symbolizing strength and peace. The design is classic, powerful, and has become an iconic symbol of American coinage. But what really makes the 1965 quarter stand out is not only its historical importance as the first clad quarter, but also the errors, varieties, and special conditions that make some examples extremely valuable. You see, during the transition from silver to clad coinage, some experimental planchets and mistakes occurred at the mint. There are extremely rare 1965 quarters that were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. These transitional error coins are some of the most sought-after pieces in the hobby, because they contain silver instead of copper-nickel, and collectors are willing to pay a fortune for them. If you happen to find one of these rare silver 1965 quarters, its value can skyrocket into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now let us talk about condition. Like any coin, the value of a 1965 quarter depends heavily on its grade. Circulated examples, the ones you find in everyday pocket change, are usually only worth their face value of 25 cents. However, uncirculated or mint state examples, especially those graded by professional services, can command impressive prices. A well-preserved coin with no wear, strong luster, and sharp details can easily fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. In fact, some collectors have paid around $442 for a stunning mint state 1965 quarter, proving that condition really is everything in the world of numismatics. Another fascinating detail is the absence of a mint mark. In 1965, the United States Mint deliberately removed mint marks from all coins in an effort to discourage coin hoarding. Collectors had been pulling coins from circulation at an alarming rate, so the mint tried to make it harder to distinguish where a coin came from. As a result, every quarter from 1965 will appear without a mint mark, whether it was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This makes the 1965 quarter unique in its uniformity, but also adds to its historical charm. Let us not forget about varieties and errors. Along with the silver transitional errors, there are 1,965 quarters with double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other minting mistakes that make them rare and valuable. Collectors love these unusual coins because each one tells a story of how the minting process is not always perfect. Depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin, these can be worth far more than the standard examples, sometimes reaching hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So what should you look out for if you come across a 1965 quarter in your change or collection? First, check the weight. A normal clad quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs closer to 6.25 grams, it might be one of those rare silver transitional errors. Next, examine the edges. A clad quarter will show a copper-colored edge due to the inner copper core, but a silver error will have a solid silver edge. Also pay close attention to the details, check for sharpness, mint luster, and any unusual doubling or striking flaws that might indicate an error. Variety. In today's market, collectors are still willing to pay big money for these coins. While the majority of 1965 quarters will remain at face value, the rare gems hidden among them are worth hunting for. The highest prices achieved for these coins show just how passionate the numismatic community is about the history and rarity of the first clad quarter. If you are lucky enough to find one in exceptional condition, you could be holding a coin worth over $400. The 1965 Liberty quarter dollar is more than just spare change. It represents the end of silver coinage, the beginning of clad coinage, and the economic and social challenges of the 1960s. It carries history in its design, rarity in its errors, and excitement in its value potential. This is why coin collectors continue to treasure it, and why it deserves a special place in your collection. So next time you come across a 1965 quarter, don't dismiss it as just a regular coin. Take a closer look, study its details, check its weight, and who knows, you might be holding on to a little piece of history worth far more than 25 cents. Some of these coins have changed hands for hundreds of dollars, with certain examples valued at $442 in the collector's market. Thank you for watching and joining me on this journey into the fascinating story of the 1965 Liberty quarter dollar. If you enjoy learning about coins with hidden value and remarkable history, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more exciting discoveries from the world of numismatics. Today we are going to talk about a coin that looks so ordinary at first glance yet hides an incredible story of value: the 1978 Liberty quarter dollar, also known as the Washington quarter. This little coin has a surprising history, and believe me, you will want to check your coin collection carefully after hearing this, because some versions of the 1978 Liberty quarter can actually be worth hundreds of dollars, even reaching up to $442 in today's collector market. So stay tuned till the end, because I am going to reveal what makes these coins valuable, how to identify them, and why they have become one of the most interesting quarters from the late 20th century. Let us begin with the background. The quarter dollar has been one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States. Its history goes all the way back to 1796, but the Washington design, which features the Liberty image of George Washington on the obverse, was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. The design, by sculptor John Flanagan, shows Washington facing left with the word Liberty across the top and "In God We Trust" inscribed to the side. The reverse side of the coin shows the American bald eagle, a proud symbol of freedom, with its wings spread wide and clutching arrows and olive branches in its talons. This classic design continued for decades, and 1978 was one of the important years because it was just before the big changes of the 1980s, when coin minting shifted in both style and production. Now here is where things get very interesting. The 1978 Liberty quarter may seem common because millions were produced by the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. However, not every coin is equal. Collectors always look for condition, rarity, and unique errors, and this is where value skyrockets. If you happen to find a coin in mint state or proof condition, untouched by circulation, it can be worth far more than its face value. While the average worn 1978 quarter is just 25 cents, the pristine gem quality versions and certain era coins can fetch hundreds of dollars. Let us talk numbers. The market value for the rarest high-grade 1978 Liberty quarter dollar has been recorded around $442. This happens mostly at auctions, when collectors compete for top-quality coins certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC. A coin graded MS67 or higher with sharp details, shining luster, and no scratches is considered extremely rare for this year, and collectors are willing to pay big money to own one. So if you have a 1978 quarter lying around, especially in brilliant, uncirculated condition, it might just be hiding serious treasure. But wait, there is more to the story. The San Francisco Mint produced proof versions of the 1978 quarter. These were struck with extra care, polished dies, and mirror-like surfaces, and were never meant for general circulation. If you find a 1978 S-proof quarter in original packaging, it can also carry strong value in the coin market than there are era coins from that year, including off-center strikes, double dies, and clipped planchets. These minting mistakes turn an ordinary quarter into a rare collectible. Some of these errors alone can command hundreds of dollars. Now think about it this way: most people pass over coins from the 1970s thinking they are too modern to hold any serious value, but history shows us that collectors crave coins from every era, especially when they are hard to find in top condition. The 1978 Liberty Quarter is a great example. It bridges the gap between old traditional minting and the new modern techniques introduced in the 1980s, plus it still carries that powerful bald eagle design that many Americans remember with nostalgia. So how can you check if your 1978 Liberty Quarter is valuable? Start by looking closely at the mint mark. Coins from Philadelphia will not have a mint mark, while Denver coins carry a small D, and San Francisco proof coins will have an S. Next, inspect the condition. If it has sharp details, strong edges, and nowhere marks, it could be worth grading. Finally, search for errors. Tilt the coin under light to see if the lettering or design looks double. Check if the strike seems off-center or if the shape of the coin itself looks unusual. These signs mean you may have a rare variety. Friends, the world of coin collecting teaches us that sometimes the most ordinary-looking objects carry incredible hidden worth. The 1978 Liberty Quarter dollar is proof of that. What started as a simple 25-cent coin could be a treasure worth hundreds of dollars today, and owning one is like holding a piece of American history right in your hand. Before you spend your change or roll up those quarters for the bank, take a second look, because who knows, maybe you are holding a gem worth $442 or more. Collectors love the thrill of discovery, and this is your chance to be part of it, so keep your eyes open. Treasure can be anywhere. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history and value of the 1978 Liberty Quarter dollar, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss updates about other rare and valuable coins. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck hunting for that special coin in your collection. Today we are going to explore everything about this amazing coin, from its rich history and design to its surprising market value that has reached up to $442 in certain conditions. So stay with me until the end, because the story of this coin is not just about money but about art, history, and the passion for collecting. Let us begin with the background of the Liberty Quarter. The quarter is one of the most widely used denominations in the United States, and over the years its designs have reflected the culture, strength, and ideals of America. In 1981, the Denver Mint produced millions of quarters bearing the D Mint mark. Although at first glance the 1981 D Liberty Quarter looks like just another regular coin in your pocket change, when you look deeper you realize that certain examples can be worth a fortune. Collectors are always on the hunt for these hidden gems, and in the case of the 1981 D Quarter, the value can be much higher than you might imagine if the coin is in pristine, uncirculated condition or has rare features. The obverse of the coin shows the familiar profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Washington's portrait has been a symbol of strength and leadership ever since it first appeared on the quarter in 1932. Above his head the word Liberty is engraved proudly, reminding us of the very principle on which the nation was built. Beneath his neck we see the mint year 1981. To the left of the portrait appears the motto "In God We Trust," which has been a constant feature on United States coinage. The reverse side of the quarter features the American eagle, wings spread wide in a majestic pose, clutching arrows, and an olive branch symbolizing both the power to defend and the hope for peace. This design remained on quarters until the state quarters program began in 1999, making coins like the 1981 D a true part of pre-modern American coinage history. Now let us talk about why the 1981 D Liberty Quarter dollar has become so desirable. First, collectors value coins from the 1980s that are preserved in extremely high grades because not many people saved them in mint condition back then. These coins were used daily in circulation, passed through millions of hands, and most of them developed scratches, wear, and signs of use. Finding a 1981 D quarter that looks brand new, shining just like the day it left the Denver Mint, is an exciting discovery for collectors. In fact, coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services can bring shocking prices at auctions. The market value of this coin can vary widely. In circulated condition, most 1981 D quarters are worth only their face value of 25 cents. But the story changes completely when we talk about uncirculated and high-grade examples. Coins with a grade of mint state 65 or higher are scarce and desirable. Some specimens in perfect condition, with strong luster and no contact marks, have been sold for hundreds of dollars. The highest recorded values reach up to $442. That is an incredible return for a simple coin that you might find in your change jar at home. This is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. You never know when an ordinary-looking coin might actually be a small treasure. There are also varieties and errors that add even more excitement to the 1981D Liberty Quarter. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process, and these mistakes make the coin unique and valuable. Collectors look for doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other rare mistakes that can transform a regular coin into a valuable rarity. If you find a 1981D quarter with one of these errors in excellent condition, its value could be even higher than the average market price. The Denver Mint is one of the most important mints in the United States. Located in Denver, Colorado, it has been producing coins for circulation since the early 20th century. The D Mint mark on the 1981 Liberty Quarter is a proud symbol of its origin. Each mint mark tells a story about where the coin was born and adds a layer of history for collectors who often enjoy building complete sets of coins from different mints. Let us also remember that the Liberty Quarter is more than just metal. It is made primarily of copper and nickel, but it carries with it the culture of America in 1981. That was a time when the country was moving through economic challenges, technological growth, and social change. Holding a quarter from that year is like holding a time capsule, a silent witness to the everyday lives of millions of people. Imagine how many transactions this coin may have seen in its lifetime, from buying a cup of coffee to being exchanged in countless pockets. And yet some of these coins have survived untouched, preserved as if waiting for collectors to discover them decades later. For coin collectors, value is not only about money but also about rarity, beauty, and history. A coin like the 1981D Liberty Quarter reminds us why numismatics is such a rewarding hobby. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story can turn into real financial value. If you come across one of these coins, take a close look. Check its condition, see if it has any special features, and consider having it professionally graded. You might just be holding a quarter that is worth hundreds of dollars. So to sum up, the 1981D Liberty Quarter dollar may appear ordinary, but in reality it can be worth a lot of money. In average circulation it is just 25 cents, but in high grades and with unique qualities it can reach up to $442 or even more depending on the demand in the market. Collectors love these coins for their design, their place in American history, and their potential value. That is the magic of coin collecting. You never know when a simple coin in your hand could turn out to be a hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this journey into the history and value of the 1981D Liberty Quarter dollar, make sure to keep an eye on your own coins. Who knows, you may already have one of these gems in your collection or even in your pocket. Coin collecting is full of surprises, and every coin has the power to tell a story, and sometimes that story is worth hundreds of dollars. Today in this video we are going to talk about a fascinating and often overlooked coin, the 1982p Liberty Quarter dollar. At first glance, it looks like just another everyday coin, but when you understand its history, the reasons why certain examples are so valuable, and how the market has placed extraordinary value on the best preserved pieces, you will realize this is not just a common quarter but a collectible worth a lot of money. Some examples of the 1982p Liberty Quarter dollar have sold in the market for as high as $442 depending on condition, rarity, and demand among collectors. Let's begin with the history. The Liberty Quarter dollar, commonly called the Washington Quarter, was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse of the coin features the profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse features the American eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows surrounded by olive branches. For decades, the design remained mostly unchanged, becoming one of the most recognizable coins in American circulation. Now let's zoom into the year 1982, a year that holds special significance in the coin world. By this time, the United States Mint had stopped producing silver quarters and had long switched to the copper-nickel-clad composition. Quarters from 1982 were made with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving them the same weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. However, what makes the 1982 quarters stand out in collector circles is the fact that no official mint sets were produced in 1982. This means there are no government-issued proof sets or mint sets containing brilliant, uncirculated quarters from that year. Because of this, collectors must hunt down high-quality business strike coins that survived in mint state condition, and these are not easy to find. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by the small letter P, struck millions of quarters in 1982, but the majority entered circulation and quickly showed wear from everyday use. That is why finding one in pristine, untouched mint state condition is so valuable today. Imagine a coin struck over 40 years ago, released into circulation with no special sets to preserve it, yet somehow surviving without scratches, nicks, or wear. That is the kind of rarity collectors chase. So how much is the 1982 P Liberty quarter worth today? The answer depends greatly on the grade of the coin. If you happen to find a circulated example, the kind you might pull from your pocket change, it may only be worth face value or slightly above. But if you come across one in high uncirculated grades, especially those graded mint state 65 or higher, the price rises dramatically. Exceptional examples can fetch hundreds of dollars at auctions. In fact, one 1982 P Liberty quarter in top mint state quality sold for an impressive $442, proving that condition is king in the world of coin collecting. When evaluating these quarters, collectors look for strong strike details, full luster, and clean surfaces. Coins that have sharp detail in George Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers are especially prized. Toning, or the natural coloration that forms on coins over time, can also add appeal to collectors, especially if it is attractive and even. Another point of interest about the 1982 P quarter is the fact that the mint in Philadelphia used a P mint mark only starting in 1980. That means the 1982 P quarter is among the earlier years where Philadelphia marked its coins. For many decades before that, Philadelphia coins carried no mint mark at all. This makes the P mark on the 1982 quarter another detail that excites some collectors. The market value of the 1982 P Liberty quarter has stayed strong precisely because of scarcity in uncirculated condition and collector demand. While millions of these quarters exist, only a tiny fraction have survived in the kind of perfect quality that earns top dollar. Collectors of Washington quarters often aim to build complete sets of coins by year and mint mark. And when they get to 1982, they discover just how challenging it is to find a suitable high-grade specimen. That drives competition and higher prices when a beautiful coin comes up for sale. Now let's talk about why this matters to you. You may have quarters from the 1980s in jars, drawers, or coin collections passed down through family. If you take the time to carefully examine a 1982 quarter and it carries the P mint mark from Philadelphia, look closely at its condition. Does it have sharp details, original luster, and no obvious wear? If so, you may be holding a coin worth far more than 25 cents. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC can authenticate and grade coins, giving them an official mint state rating that boosts their market value and makes them attractive to buyers. It is also important to understand that coin values are influenced by market trends. Collector interest can rise and fall, but certain coins, especially those with unique circumstances like the 1982 P Liberty quarter with no mint set issue, tend to maintain steady demand. Today, the highest auction records show values around $442. But who knows what the future may hold as more collectors enter the hobby and fewer high-quality examples remain available. In summary, the 1982 P Liberty quarter dollar is a coin that combines everyday familiarity with hidden rarity. Its history ties back to the long-running Washington quarter series, its design honors America's first president, and its market value demonstrates how condition and scarcity can transform a simple coin into a treasure worth hundreds of dollars. This is why collectors love the thrill of coin hunting. What looks like an ordinary piece of change can sometimes turn into a remarkable discovery that adds real value to your collection. So next time you come across a quarter from 1982, do not overlook it. Take a close look at that P mint mark, Study the condition, and consider that you might just have a hidden gem that could be worth a lot more than its face value. The story of the 1982 P Liberty quarter dollar reminds us that history, rarity, and preservation all play a role in making coins valuable, and it proves once again that treasures can be hiding in plain sight. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoy learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video so more collectors and treasure hunters can join us on this journey. Stay tuned for more deep dives into coin history and value, and maybe your next discovery will be the one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating history and incredible value of the Liberty quarter dollar minted in 1990 with the D Mint mark. This coin has gained a reputation not only for its historical background but also for its potential market worth that has collectors buzzing with excitement. Believe it or not, certain examples of this coin have sold in auctions and private sales for hundreds of dollars in pristine condition, with values reaching up to $442 and in. Today's video we will uncover why this coin is so special, what makes it valuable, and how you can identify whether the 1990 D quarter dollar in your pocket change could actually be worth big money. Let us start with the history of the quarter dollar. By 1990, the United States Mint had already been producing Washington quarters for several decades. This design, featuring the profile of George Washington on the obverse side, was first introduced in 1932 as a way to honor the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. The coin became such an iconic part of American currency that the Mint continued the design well into the late 20th century, including the year 1990. Now, the D Mint mark on the 1990 quarter indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most active mints in the country. The Denver Mint has produced billions of quarters over the years, but even within those billions, certain coins stand out as far more valuable than others. So, what makes the 1990 D quarter potentially worth so much money? Collectors and numismatists agree that condition, rarity, and unique errors play a huge role. For example, a standard worn 1990 D quarter found in circulation will usually only be worth its face value of 25 cents. However, when you find an example that is in pristine mint state condition, graded highly by professional services like PCGS or NGC, the value can skyrocket. High-grade specimens with brilliant luster and sharp details often sell for hundreds of dollars. In fact, some have reached values around $442, and that is why coin enthusiasts are always on the lookout. Another key factor that makes the 1990 D quarter so appealing is the possibility of mint errors. Errors occur during the minting process and can result in double strikes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, missing clad layers, or other unusual variations. Collectors go wild for error coins because they are unique, one of a kind, and often much rarer than regular strikes. A 1990 D Liberty quarter with a dramatic mint error can bring in far more than its normal value depending on the type of error and the condition of the coin. Now let us talk about how you can identify if your 1990 D quarter dollar has collector value. First, take a close look at the mint mark. It should be a clear D located on the obverse side near Washington's ponytail. Next, examine the condition. Is the coin shiny and crisp, with little to no wear? Does it still have its original mint luster, or has it been heavily circulated? Coins that look almost brand new without scratches, dings, or discoloration are the ones that command the highest market prices. Also, inspect the coin under good lighting or even with a magnifying glass to see if you can spot any unusual features or possible mint errors. The market for coins like the 1990 D Liberty quarter is strong because collectors are always searching for high-grade examples to complete their sets, while common circulated coins will only fetch 25 cents. Those that are professionally graded MS65 or higher can reach hundreds of dollars. It is amazing to think that a simple coin you might spend at the grocery store could actually be hiding incredible value. Let us also appreciate the artistry and symbolism of the coin. The obverse with Washington's portrait, designed by John Flanagan, has been an enduring symbol of leadership and history. The reverse side, during 1990, still featured the majestic American eagle with outstretched wings, a design that resonates with the ideals of strength and freedom. Coins like these are not just currency, they are miniature works of art carrying the legacy of American history. So if you have a jar of quarters at home, or you receive change during a purchase, take the time to check those coins carefully. A 1990 D Liberty quarter in exceptional condition could transform from just pocket change into a small treasure worth hundreds of dollars. And if you are serious about collecting, always consider sending your best examples to be graded by a professional grading service, since that certification can significantly increase both the value and the trustworthiness of your coin when it comes time to sell. In conclusion, the 1990 Liberty Quarter Dollar may look like an ordinary coin, but its story, value, and potential rarity make it extraordinary, from its origins at the Denver Mint to its beautiful design and the possibility of rare mint errors. This coin continues to captivate collectors across the country. Remember, condition is key. Rarity adds value and history gives it character, so check your change carefully. You might just discover that you are holding a Liberty Quarter worth as much as $442, and that is the kind of discovery that makes coin collecting so exciting. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the value and history of the 1990 Liberty Quarter, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment below if you have ever found one of these coins in your collection or pocket change. Who knows, maybe the next coin you come across will be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep the history of coins alive. Today we are going deep into the story of the 1997 Liberty Quarter Dollar. This coin may look like an ordinary piece of change to the untrained eye, but in reality some special examples of this coin are worth a lot of money, and in certain conditions this coin can reach a market value of over $442. So if you have a jar of quarters lying around, or if you just got some change back at the store, you might want to take a closer look at any 1997 quarters you come across. The 1997 Liberty Quarter was minted in Denver, which is why it carries the D mint mark right under the motto "In God We Trust" and above the date. The coin features the familiar design of George Washington on the obverse, which has been used on the quarter since 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of the first President of the United States. The obverse shows a profile of Washington facing left with the word Liberty at the top, the national motto "In God We Trust" to the left, and the year 1997 at the bottom. On the reverse, we see the eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace. This design was used on United States quarters from 1932 all the way until 1998. That means the 1997 quarter was one of the very last years this classic eagle reverse was produced, before the state quarter program began in 1999. That historical context alone makes this coin more interesting because it is part of the final chapter of the Washington Eagle reverse era. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins in 1997, so you might think they are all common. But as with many coins, the details make all the difference. The typical worn example of a 1997 quarter is still worth just face value, 25 cents. But collectors pay close attention to grade, condition, strike quality, luster, and mint errors. A quarter in pristine uncirculated condition, especially one that grades high on the professional coin grading scale, can command a serious premium. Let us talk about why some examples of this coin are worth more than $400. When a coin is perfectly struck and preserved without scratches, nicks, or circulation wear, it becomes rare. Coin collectors love these gems because they represent the best surviving examples of the year. A 1997 quarter graded at the top levels, such as MS-68 or higher, is extremely hard to find, and that rarity drives up the market price. For example, some of these coins in top mint state condition have sold for over $442 at auctions and through coin dealers. But it does not stop there. Mint errors can also make the 1997 quarter very valuable. Coins that were misstruck, struck off center, doubled dies, or have unusual planchet errors are hot items among collectors. Imagine finding a quarter in your pocket where the design is shifted to the side or the letters are doubled. That kind of mistake turns an ordinary 25-cent coin into a collectible worth hundreds, or even thousands depending on rarity and demand. The history of the Liberty Quarter Dollar is also important. Since 1932, this coin has carried the portrait of George Washington. Over the decades, Americans used these coins in everyday commerce, from buying groceries to paying for gas, to saving them in jars for laundry or arcade games. By 1997, the Washington quarter with the eagle reverse had become one of the most familiar designs in American life. Yet just a couple of years later, in 1999, the coin world changed forever with the launch of the state quarter program. That program became the most popular coin program in U.S. history, and suddenly everyone was looking at their change more carefully. The 1997 D quarter stands right at the edge of that turning point, making it even more nostalgic and collectible today. Now, let us imagine you find a shiny 1997 D Liberty quarter. The first thing to do is to examine its condition. If it looks brand new, no scratches, no wear, strong strike, and great luster, it could be worth much more than face value. To know exactly how much, collectors often send their coins to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. A coin graded MS-66 might be worth several dollars, MS-67 might jump to dozens of dollars, and MS-68 is where the value can soar into the hundreds, sometimes even exceeding the $442 mark. Another factor is demand. Collectors always look for coins to complete their sets. Since the 1997 D quarter is one of the last of the eagle reverse design, demand is steady. If your coin has unique toning, like rainbow colors caused by the metal reacting to the environment over time, it could be worth more. Collectors love coins that are not only high grade but also have attractive eye appeal. Let us also remember the cultural impact of coins like the 1997 D Liberty quarter. They are not just metal pieces. They are miniature history lessons that pass through millions of hands, carrying the image of a founding father, the word liberty, and the spirit of America. For many people, holding on to these coins connects them to a story larger than themselves. That is part of the reason rare coins can sell for so much money. It is not only about metal and minting. It is about history, symbolism, and human desire to collect and preserve. So the big question is, could you have one of these valuable quarters right now? Check your change, your old coin jars, your dresser drawers. Take a good look at every 1997 D quarter you find. Examine the details under good light or with a magnifying glass. Look for sharp design features, absence of wear, unusual errors, or brilliant uncirculated surfaces. You never know if that small piece of pocket change could be a hidden treasure. In summary, the 1997 D Liberty quarter dollar may be common in circulation, but in the right condition or with the right error, it can be worth hundreds of dollars, with market values reaching over $442. It represents the final years of a classic design, it holds historical significance, and it offers coin collectors a chance to own a piece of American history that is both affordable at entry level and potentially extremely valuable at the top end. That wraps up today's deep dive into the 1997 D Liberty quarter dollar. If you enjoyed learning about this coin and its fascinating mix of history, design, and collector value, make sure to like this video, share it with other coin enthusiasts, and subscribe for more content about rare coins and hidden treasures in everyday money. Who knows, the next coin we talk about might be sitting in your wallet right now. Keep searching, keep collecting, and you might just strike gold with silver and copper.